Hey guys, welcome to the Rusty Hook Kayak Fishing Podcast. This is John Rapp. Appreciate you guys jumping in with me. I got a great show with a great group of guests. Some will be active, some will be jumping on and off because they are up in the great state of Pennsylvania. Yes, my Yankee buddies from up across the Mason-Dixon line have jumped on to tell us about their hidden gem up there, and it's the Susquehanna River. So let's not waste too much more time. Let's get this show kicked off.
You're watching the Paddle and Fin Podcast Network. Welcome to the Rusty Hook Podcast, presented by Feelfree Kayaks. Paddle, pedal, or power, there's something for everyone. ZPRO Lithium, serious power for serious anglers. DuBro Fishing, American marine application in soft plastics. Big Lake Bait Company, Texas's #1 custom bait maker. Raw and unfiltered. Streaming on Twitch, YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter. Bringing you gear reviews and candid interviews from the industry's best. Angler profiles, tournament news, and legendary knowledge from kayak fishing's best. Grab that cold drink and get settled in. Now here's John Rapp, our host.
Okay, thanks guys for taking your time to come and show up. I'm going to bring on a few guests here. Some are having some technical difficulties because they're being slammed now or getting the outer bands of that tropical storm that blew through up the mid-Atlantic. So first, we're going to bring on my boy Abs. Welcome to the show, Abby.
Hey, John, how are you?
Good, buddy. I appreciate you taking a few moments to jump on with us. I know you're already out further west pre-fishing for that big Hobie event. So, man, I appreciate you, brother. I'm glad that you're going to come on and talk about your beautiful waters that you get to fish there at your hometown. Next, we got on the prototype. Adam Milstead, Big Daddy, is in the house, punching and slamming fish. What's going on, Adam?
What's up, man? How are you?
Good, man. It's good to have you on. Appreciate you taking some time, like Abs, to jump on and talk about the great state of Pennsylvania and that hidden gem. It's not really hidden to kayak anglers, but it's still not well known, so it's awesome. It's an awesome place. I'm looking forward to hearing from you guys about that water because me, a local guy just 4 hours south, has never fished it. So let's add Mike to the podcast. Mike Rienhold.
Hey, John.
Hey, Mike, we appreciate you coming on, man. You're an expert of that water, run businesses, done kayak trips. I mean, you put people out on the water from where you work around that location. Looking forward to getting your insight and where people can hit you up and say, hey, talk to me, give us some of that wisdom.
Yeah, happy to give you some info and some background on the river.
Awesome. And we're going to try to bring on my boy Dain Provins. Hey, Dain, I know you're having some technical difficulties, but if you can hear us, man, we're glad to have you on while you're working on that.
Hey, guys.
Hey, we got him. Outstanding, man. While you're working on your getting your cell set up here, I am going to bring on my special guest that
really, if you can hear me, we're really getting in here in Elizabeth, PA. So
cool. Hey, one other guest. D Total Package.
Are we good?
We're good. The GOAT, Jody Queen.
There we go.
What the hell?
Hey, give me a good deal. Hey, Dain, can you hear us okay?
Hey, Dad.
Okay,
hey,
good.
Hey, Abby, how you been? Where you at?
All right, I know you guys are probably sitting side by side out in your vehicles.
Yeah,
Abby just gave it. Oh, I was going to say, Abby just gave it away. He looked right over at you.
Yeah. Hey.
All right, guys. Let's start off with you, Abs. Give us a shout out to where people can learn about you and your fishing adventures. A little bit about you, your socials, and things like that.
Basically, just all of them are Abby Abbondanza Fishing, and then on Facebook it's Abby Abbondanza as well as Abby Abbondanza Fishing.
Sweet. Adam Milstead, introduce yourself, tell everybody about you and where they can find you and your socials, brother.
The stereotype.
Yeah, what's up, kid? What? What'd you say, Abby? You keep it up. I'm going to share all of your secret spots on the Susquehanna here. So,
Ooh, I
Yeah.
like it.
no, what's up, guys? My name's Adam Milstead. You can find me at Adam Milstead on pretty much all the social medias. And then I also have a kayak fishing channel called Straight Yak. That's STR number 8 YAKD. So, yeah, that's where you can find me.
Outstanding. All right, Mikey, you're on the hot seat, brother.
Yeah, pretty much anybody needs to contact me can get me through Facebook or through Kayak Anglers of Central PA. Be glad to give you any info, river conditions, that kind of stuff, areas to fish right now, what's hitting. So don't be afraid to hit me up.
Sweet, sweet. All right, Perez, you're up, Big Daddy. Tell us about you and where people can find you. Dain? Is he froze? Yeah, he might be frozen.
I'm literally about, I don't know, maybe 10 minutes, 20 minutes from where he is,
You guys hear
and
me?
it's getting ready to pour down.
Hey, I noticed you jumped from inside to outside.
I almost blew away. It was getting
my.
rough out there. Yeah.
Hey, guys, the guy in the center is Dain Provins. He is the president of kayakanglers.com. He helps run the show up there for all the kayak anglers that are involved in the local clubs. There's 3 entities up there, but you can find Dain basically at that address underneath his name. Sorry about that, Dain. You're having some internet issues, buddy. We understand. Hey, Jody.
Yeah, buddy.
For the people that don't know who the hell you are, yeah, I know that is funny.
Jody Queen. You can get me at Jody Queen Fishing on all 3 of the major platforms: YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram. And yeah, I just like to fish. I'm just an old hillbilly.
Ain't that the truth? Ain't that the truth? So, guys, you know, when I hit you all up, I told you I was getting ready to come up Thursday. I was going to fish for the weekend, and I thought Bassmasters just had one hell of a good event there. A lot of big fish put up. I know you guys fished it, and you live there. I just wanted to share with our audience the Paddle and Fin. And, guys, if you didn't know, we're streaming live, raw and unfiltered on 8 channels, 5 Facebook, and 3 YouTube in Colorado, Georgia, Illinois, West Virginia, and parts all over. So, guys, if you're watching the show, throw up a comment, like, subscribe, ask questions, and let's get some knowledge from these guys because all of them are hellacious fishermen. They smack the smallies around, and 3 of them are signed up out. Was it Wisconsin, Saginaw Bay? Is that where y'all fishing?
Saginaw Bay in Michigan.
Yeah. So I mean,
right here.
Tell us a little about your pre-fishing. Tell us about Susquehanna, and just tell us a little bit about techniques that can help us novices out here to catch some big smallies. Abs, start it off, buddy.
Probably the easiest thing I could tell you for the Susquehanna is use a chatterbait. Anything with a gold blade, bluegill colored, white, and then for those that like the finesse fish, just a standard green pumpkin Ned.
Amen, baby. You're speaking my language there, Z-Man Daddy.
Yeah, I mean, I come in 5th at the Hobie back in 2022, just throwing for 2 days straight. I threw nothing but a green pumpkin Ned.
Hey, I want to know what you guys think about something like this. One of these little ribbed baits like that. Would you have a problem throwing something like that on that river? Because I know they work decent down on Jody's neck of the woods, especially this time of year when they're starting to feed up and hit them bigger baits. Would y'all throw something like that? A little ribbed bait across the top of shoals and things like that?
I didn't see what it was.
It's one of those little ribbed hard baits. It's like a bluegill style.
I got glasses on. I still can't see it.
How about? Can you see it, Adam?
Yeah,
Mikey?
that looks like it almost looks like a bull shad.
Yeah, it's just a ribbed bluegill size.
It's a
Yeah.
swim.
No, it's a swim bait.
It's a little
Swim
swim
bait.
bait. It ain't like what
Okay.
you were throwing the other day, Abs, with that reel that you put out that I shared on the ZPRO community. But it's a lot
I know
smaller
that-
than that.
Yeah, the glide bait. That's a swim bait. That's a jointed swim bait. Yeah, they eat that a lot.
Okay, that's what I was interested in. I've got a couple that I was going to throw up there.
And the best time to throw that is late September, October.
Okay, well, good. That's good to know. All right, keep talking, Abs. Tell us some more about let's go with the 3 finesse or 3 baits that you would take out and you would throw right now on the Susquehanna.
Definitely a jackhammer, a Ned, and then also a bang stick.
Bang stick. Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Now that's the bang stick. Is that the Z-Man little? It's got the little fingers on the top.
Yes, but it's a 6-inch bait.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right, you're in the hot seat, Adam.
What's up?
You're 3, baby. What would you throw?
Oh man, look, it depends on what you want. I mean, if you're running like, have you ever you seen how the native watercraft or native tournaments are run, like the MLF style ones, where you can catch tons and tons and tons of fish, and however many that you put up there, that's your total inches. Like, it's not like a top 5; it's your top whatever you get. So, something like that, I would probably stick with like a wacky worm, weighted wacky worm. That's what I used last weekend. Ned, you could do small spinner baits, small jackhammers, like a mini max or something like that. But the other caveat to that is, you're going to catch a ton of 12 to 16-inch bass. But if you want to catch giant bass, which obviously that's what the Susquehanna is known for, use big baits. So I would say probably summertime, you're looking for choppos, like Berkeley choppos, whopper ploppers, buzz baits, and spinner baits. And then when it gets to fall time, anywhere like what Abby was talking about, September, October, maybe a little bit into November, depending on the weather, those bass really they hit pretty much anything. And so in order to avoid wading through a ton of sort of cookie cutter bass, use things like what we were just talking about, the bull shads. You have the 5-inch bull shad, which is generally a staple at that time of the year. Then you have big spinner baits. I'm talking about half-ounce spinner baits, throwing them, just throwing them with, could be like just regular Colorado blades and stuff like that. Make it slow.
Okay.
Find your points, hit their points, throw it, at anything and everything you see. Any little ripple, any little deviation in the current. And then the other one I would say would probably be, so what I say, bull shad, I said spinner bait. I have to say it, and I hate to say it, but Christine Fisher pushed me on this, is wake baits. I know Abby hates wake baits with a passion, but man, they really do a lot of work. For some unknown reason,
I like the rat. I like the rat wake bait.
Well, yeah, which is actually used quite a lot. In fact, actually, there was a guy at my ramp last tournament there, and his last fish was a 19.5-inch smallie, probably darn near 5 pounds. Caught it on a rat last like 30 minutes. So the rat is good. It really is. But any type of wake bait that makes that sort of slow wake on the surface. Another thing with the spinner baits, ride them high. So
Right.
A lot of people don't realize spinner baits were actually first designed to be wake baits. And so if you take that spinner bait, you ride it on the surface and it creates that wake. That's a big way to, entice them to hit. So, but yeah, like Abby said, if you can get up there September, October, that's the big time for big smallies.
Oh boy, you got me excited now because we're looking at the middle of September.
Yep.
We worked, like Jody. We were going to go back up this Thursday, Friday, Saturday, but as you guys know, you're getting slammed by the outer bands of that little lady that hit south, and she's coming up there and working her way into you guys. So it's really actually missed me here in the middle of West Virginia. We haven't got hit with none of it yet. So
Yeah.
See, I would actually go because you want the water on the rise. The fish, those fish up there eat like crazy when the water is rising.
I think that the concern was there was going to be 1 to 3 inches of rain on Thursday into Friday.
Let it
And
ride.
oh yeah, okay.
Jody
Yeah,
will tell you. Jody and I like it when it's coming up.
I'm an exact opposite, John. I like it when it's low. The idea is you get more consolidated bass and the competition becomes greater. Like I'm talking low.
Oh yeah, I
Sometimes
got
have
you.
to drag. Yeah. And you'll be out there, you'll be wading through 17, 18-inch fish trying to find, that one big one. But, the best time, if it were me, when I was going up there, if I'm looking for that start of the fall bite, I wait for a nighttime temperature of somewhere in the low 50s, high 40s. As soon as you get that, the first one, go ahead, head up there, because they'll be chewing.
I got you. Good advice. Hey, Mikey.
Yes, sir.
You got a little information from 2 of your boys there. What do you think? What kind of feedback would you give us?
Well, I'll tell you what. If you're coming your first time to the river and want to consistently catch fish, the 3 baits I'd give you would be Reaction Innovations Skinny Dipper and Bullfrog. Rig it up Texas rig with a screw-in tungsten weight in the nose, and you can wind it through any grass, any wood, and they just hammer them.
Okay.
I'd go with a big TRD in yoga pants. The black.
There we go. That's Jody Queen's favorite color right there.
Oh yeah. Well, it's tremendous on the river. If you ever flip rocks on the river, there's all kind of insect larvae, and most of them are dark black color, inch and a half long. And then as far as you got to always have a top water tied on. If you just want to catch a ton of fish, a Don Ivino Splash, it's hard to beat. If you want to go bigger fish, get yourself a big Zara Spook and walk it. Right now with the water, if you're coming up after this push of water, the top water bite should be phenomenal because most of the floating grass will be blowed out now.
There you go. Yeah.
Now, if you're coming up in the fall and just want big fish, I'd fish the Zara Spook. I'd fish a chatterbait with a Yamamoto trailer in green pumpkin. And I'd throw a big jig with a crawl trailer.
Hey, I appreciate that. Anything else you on top of those 3 that you might pack in your bag of tricks?
Well, anybody that wants to catch a ton of fish, little TRD is just amazing on the river. I mean, for someone that hasn't fished it a lot or isn't concentrating on just big fish, the potential for 50, 60, 70 fish days with a little TRD is perfect. Now you have to experiment a little with the jig weights to get the drift and the current, but when you do, it's usually lights out on them. You'll get holes with 15, 20 fish at a time in it. So
beautiful. We lost Dain there again, so I'm gonna bring up the goat of kayak fishing and let him give us his insight. All right, Big Daddy.
No, man, I'll tell you, I just keep it simple, man. You know me, I'm a simple person.
Hey, like I was saying there a little bit ago, Jody, what was it, 8-9 years ago, we were talking, and you were like, hey, man, you can't go wrong throwing black and blue or throw anything black. And you're like, you got to think about them wasps and all them bees and everything dropping in the water that they're dying. And
I mean, I just like throwing big baits for big smallmouth. I mean, the jackhammer, I've caught, I don't know how many big fish off the jackhammer. And I love throwing the big 130 plopper. But there's, places that you need to concentrate on if you're throwing that big plopper. And that's, the spillovers, along the ledges, anywhere where the current picks up when it goes around the rock, hit the fronts of whatever that obstacle is in the water. Because a lot of times those big fish will set up on the fronts of them because they're the king of the roost and they're going to get that food first. So they're usually up up tight to the fronts of that stuff. But yeah, those 3 baits. But we were talking about the water rising. What Abby was trying to relay was there's a certain point in that river up there that. So if you go up there and I just take the Sunbury gauge for example. If they're pushing, 6,000, 7,000, 8,000, for me, it's harder to find those fish because I think they're spread out more then. What happens when you get a rise when you're fishing 15,000 cubic feet to 20,000 cubic feet per second? It also concentrates those fish because they come out of that heavy current and they'll go right into those grass beds.
Yeah,
and you can almost count on them just like clockwork being there when the water's that high. And I've pulled them out of the middle of the grass beds using jigs and chatterbaits, and they'll concentrate in those times too. If the water has a little color to it, even better. I like it when the water has got, if you can see a foot down in it, I'm happy. But those 3 baits are probably my best go-to baits. Now, like Adam was saying earlier, though, when you get in the fall, you can throw those big bull shads. They work really well. If you got some grass flowing down from a recent rain or anything, you can throw a buzz bait if you want to keep your top water up. And the wake baits are really good too. If you really don't like cranking some of those wake baits, you can try the big bite. What I think they're called the big bites. They're a Z-Man jackhammer style bait. They're just like a big giant chatterbait. They got a big blade chatterbait's what they are. And man, those things wake, and I mean you can barely crank them, and they throw off a great wake too. So my picks for any time that I go up there and I'm just going for big fish is going to be that big 130 plopper and a jackhammer. And I've caught a lot of fish off of that bang stick too. Just throw it on a jig head.
I got you. Hey, when we come back, guys, I want you to think about something for the next minute. For somebody that's going to come up and visit a friendly location, camp, a friendly ramp, a good part of the river that's easy to access, something for a beginner. Keep that thought. Be right back.
This is the Rusty Hook Podcast, supporting people and companies that support us. Feelfree Kayaks, paddle, pedal, or power, something for everyone. DuBro Fishing, manufacturer of fishing and marine products for freshwater and saltwater anglers. ZPRO Lithium, high-quality, specifically designed lithium batteries to power your outdoor recreations. Big Lake Bait Company, Texas's #1 custom soft plastics bait maker. You're tuned in to the Rusty Hook Podcast. More than a podcast, but a way of life. From the biggest lakes to the smallest creeks, we are all things kayak fishing. Refresh that drink, turn up the volume, and feel the excitement. It's time for the second half of the show. Live, raw, and unfiltered. Now, let's join the one and only Big Daddy.
Hey guys, welcome back. Appreciate you hanging out with us the first half of the show. I'm going to bring back the guys that I have here, all the Pennsylvania boys and my boy from Bluefield, West Virginia, and get some feedback from them regarding the question that I posed right there before we went to commercial. And that is, if somebody wanted to go up to the Susquehanna, we've heard so much great stories about, the big monstrous smallies up there. Where's a friendly location where somebody can go camp, have access to the Walmarts and places to eat, and then still put in on the water right from the campground, go fish, and then float back to the campground? For Jody, think about like Battle Run at Summersville Lake. Some place like that where you're right on the edge of the water. You can float around the lake and then you can go back, but in a river aspect. So let's bring these fellas back. Let's welcome back Adam Milstead, the total package, the prototype, the man. And then we got the legend, the singing voice, the voice, Abby. Abondanza.
Don't build it up too much. It's just Ab.
And his nickname isn't his UFC fighting thing isn't prototype. It's the stereotype.
Oh yeah, he is a Steve.
You keep it up, Abby. We're gonna wrestle when we get up to Michigan.
Woo! I'd pay to see that. Then we got Mikey Rienhold, the total package, and then Z Mangote, Jody Queen. What up, JQ? Jody Queen, you're not a local up there, and I know you make a lot of trips up.
I do.
But you got a lot of friends up there too. Tell us a little bit about where you go, who you stay with, or where do you recommend somebody like old Johnny Boy to go and throw a boat on the side of a river?
Well, I'll tell you, man, Ferry Boat Campground is probably about the best place that I know of that I go, because you got a launch right there. You got a little ice cream stand. They've upgraded a lot of stuff there.
Woo!
They've got a small general store. You can take a camper. You can tent camp. They have small cabins that you can rent. And they've got just about everything right there. So, I mean, that's about the only place that I've stayed going up there as far as camping. So,
Jody, you're making me miss my Jeeping days, you know?
yeah, right.
Oh, hell.
But they do great. You got a good launch there. You can launch right from the campground. It's just it's pretty much all inclusive. Now, you got a little run back into Duncannon there. It's not real close to any Walmarts unless you go up to Sealands Grove or back into Harrisburg. But there's stores there that you can get to get supplies if you need to.
I got you. So, Adam, you want to give us your thoughts?
Yeah. Man, there's so many different places there. I will say, I'm a big fan of probably the middle part of the section of that river that we normally fish there. Liverpool's a good area, and the first one that was coming to mind was Ferry Boat as well, and Jody beat me to it. It's I like getting around islands, any islands that I find. And of course, when you start getting down a little bit further, you start getting into some of the rocks where it can be kind of difficult to navigate. But man, I mean, it just seems like every rock out there just has something either behind it or in front of it. So ferry boat, Liverpool, they're a good one to go with.
Appreciate that, man. Hey, Mikey,
Yeah.
give us your thoughts, brother.
Well, ferry boat for sure. It's a real nice campground with a lot of amenities. If you want to go a little more rustic, you can go down to Riverfront Campground in Duncannon, and I do mean it's a little more rustic now. So
yeah, that's where we were planning on staying at.
Yeah, there is a lot of amenities close by, either in Duncannon or right up across the river. And also, if you weren't going camping route, you can stay. There's a lot of nice little hotels and motels in Sealands Grove that are really close to the upper section launches, like Iowa Q. You can fish around the Hoover's Island launch, that sort of thing. So there's access up there too. You just wouldn't be right on the river.
Okay, cool. Abs?
Ferry boat for sure, but honestly, if you're a beginner going on there, I would launch somewhere like Penn's Run or Port Trevorton, where you're not going to run in any rapids. There's not big rocks everywhere. It's a little deeper water, especially from Penn's Run down to, so it'd be Hoover's Island down to Port Trevorton.
I'm glad you brought that up, because that sort of segues into my next question. And I'll go into that here after we get the JQ's responses. But go on, continue on, Abs.
Yeah, that would be my first, because you're dealing with 3 to 6 foot water.
Okay. Yeah, excellent.
You want to fish the obvious. Any wood in the water, any grass beds, like Jody was saying, points of islands. Points, front and backs of the grass beds, islands. So that's all good stuff.
Excellent. All right, I think did we cover that? I'll bring Jody back on, let him talk about it one last time. Bluefield boy driving up. Now, but while we're talking about that, Jody, I want to go into what Abby just said, and I have an NK300 on the back of my Moken. I don't have any guards, so if I come up there, I want to be in a location, that I'm not too worried about tearing up my motor. You and I mean, I'm used to the new river where I can go from 4 feet of water and then hit a rock, 6 inches deep. So is the Susquehanna, is it built like that?
Yeah, I mean, it is in places, but I mean, you got some good places that you can run a motor without a rock guard on it. Like one of them, Abby mentioned Penns Creek. If you sit at the mouth of Penns Creek and float down to Port Trevorton, that's a really easy float. It's a short float. It's got a lot of good fishing in it. It's got a lot of deeper water and a lot of slower moving areas. Montango below McKee Falls there is also another good area. It's got some good deep water with some good fishing around the islands there. That place you can set in, and if you stay in the area there between the ramp and the islands and then drop down and just work that area up to the falls, you shouldn't have no problem at all. And of course,
is that an all-day fishing area? I mean, or is it something that
you can stay there all day. You can even get back. You can drop down and get there into the back of it, and it's deep enough up through there. I mean, if you watch what you're doing, you can get on the other side of the island and go up too, quite a ways. Now, you won't be jumping above where the ledge for McKee Falls goes across. You won't be jumping above that, but you'd have to get out and drag above that.
Okay.
But, all that is good. Those two areas, they stick out. I see Shady Nook is another one that you could go to and probably not have no problem with it. It's got a lot of nice even flow with not a lot of big stuff in it if you're going upriver, and I recommend that you go upriver there.
Okay.
But those three spots just come to my mind. It's got some good slow water in it. And if you want to get out of the boat and drag around a little bit, there's places you can get out in all three of those areas that you can get out and drag around. If you want to get on the back side of the island or take a cut through one of those islands and explore a little bit, you can get up in there and then just float back down out of them.
I think about Shanklin's Ferry, and in the falls, we got to work our way up through there. Is it similar?
Very similar.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay. Thank you, Jody. You're I don't care what they say about you. You're the total package.
Yeah.
Abs, bringing you back, Big Daddy. Follow up on Jody there, and we're talking about good water, deep enough for somebody that wants to bring a motorized kayak, push around up in there, and make an all-day fishing trip out of it.
Yeah, I mean, definitely Penn's Run down to Port Trevorton, and you can go all around Hoover Island. That's what I do. Is it's easier to go down towards Port Trevorton than come up the backside, go down and go around the backside of the island and go up. And then you can float back down once you get up above there, and you're going to want to have a graph on so you can use your map. Once you get above that island, then you can drop back down to Penn's Run. So you could do it in one, all just access one area.
Right.
Pretty much fish a full day and just go out and have fun, relax.
Yep.
Cool. And that's one location. Anything further up north or further south?
Yeah, Shady Nook. There's also Montgomery. Well, now you have to deal with some shoals there in Montgomery on the West Branch. The lower West Branch, like you can go up in Sunbury. Sunbury is a deep pool, and you could go up there and not have to worry about rocks. Period. And you can go up the West Branch, or you can go North Branch.
Sweet. And this is all about the information that we're providing you guys. This is not about fishing. This is about your equipment. You need to go in there, use your equipment, and catch fish. Now, Abby and Jody aren't saying that the big 20s are in there, 21s. They probably are. But what we're relaying here, and what I wanted to emphasize is equipment, using a motor. And I appreciate you guys spilling some of that right there. Let's bring Adam on. Let it get some thoughts from him there.
Yeah, actually, if you're talking about just doing something real simple, Isla Q. and go up to the bridge, fish the bridge. And you have all that open water as you come back down to the Isle of Q. That's a really good spot. Running small swim baits and stuff like that. You go up to the bridge, you can net around the bridge, and you can have a great day. You're not going to run into any rocks. As long as you stay on this side, you'll be fine.
And that's, and not to interrupt you, I apologize because I don't want to take one to the left eye and right eye later. But Jody, and when we talk West Virginia rivers, we're talking you can almost cast across them. So up there where you guys in Susquehanna, that's a big wide location, right? So you're talking half mile wide or quarter mile. Okay, so when you're talking about that bridge and fishing around it, it's like a lake, but it's a river.
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay.
Yep. It's definitely now like fishing ability and being able to fish as well as possible. If it's my advice, I actually enjoy fishing motoring up the river, fishing upriver. And I think you can get a lot of those fish if you are a bit closer to the bank, if you're pounding a bank or something like that, making your way up the river, because generally, those bass in there are kind of moving around like trout. They kind of sit in the current. They'll sit there. They'll get behind an eddy, and they'll just wait for things to kind of flow down to them. They're facing away a lot of the times because smallmouth are generally visual hunters. If you're coming up behind them, just like trout fishing, they say fish up the river. That's the same thing. So, with the Susquehanna, I would move up as I'm fishing. I use a Torpedo, but put the NK300 on, like, I don't know what it is actually, but for the Torpedo, it's like 10, and you'll be able to move up just enough where you can really pick apart the bank, pick apart little areas, little deviations in the current. And then the big thing too,
basically a trolling speed.
Yeah, but I'm not that good of a caster, so I got to go a little slower because I always want to try to get. I'm always usually hung up in a tree or something like that. So, but get it, especially when that sun gets overhead. Find that shade, throw in the shade, move your way up. When you get up above, if you can get up above the bridge from the Isle of Q, that's like the next one up would be what, Shady Nook. That whole section up there, you can work that whole section up, and it's fun. And then when you're coming down, barely have that motor running just so you can keep steering. Barely have it just twirling in the back, and go ahead, do the same thing, fish. And then obviously it's going to be dependent on the weather. For me personally, like, if they don't have anything to hide behind on the bank, they're going to get out in the middle of the river. So,
there we go. I like it.
Yeah, the idea is if you can find wood, you find laydowns, you find, it could be sharp points, things like that, little eddies, right on the bank, they'll be there. But if they don't have that, they're going to be out in the middle. And then, like these guys, they like it when the water rises. And that's big time. When the water rises, it becomes a little bit easier to target because they're generally adhering to, things on the river that you would assume, like if you were largemouth fishing, you wanted to flip. If all you want to do is flip cover, that's basically it. You just go up and you move up, and if it's water's rising, they're going to get right behind the wood or whatever is there on the bank. But like I said before, if the bank is just nothing but rock, they're going to be off. They're going to be out in the deep. So just keep that in mind. That's why I like it when it gets low, because for me personally, the way I fish, I do a number of different techniques. And here's the one thing I will say: like, if you want to go up and have a good time, that guy right there, that's all.
Oh yeah.
Weighted. This is what I did at the Susquehanna last
week and a half ago.
Yeah. So throw that thing weighted, throw it in the shade. If you don't have a lot of, rising water, if the current's a little bit lower, that's a great thing to use. And you will catch big ones. You'll catch small ones too. But, I've last weekend I pulled up, a couple 19s, 18s, couple 18s in practice, just using that technique. Color wise, like any abstract color you come across. So I was using a purplish pinkish worm, supposed to just stand out, be a little bit different, and just smallmouth will hit. But I mean, you can use green pumpkin, you use whatever. I don't think it really matters. But yeah, so location wise, ILQ, work your way up to the bridge, go above the bridge, work up and around there, throw a wacky worm, you're gonna have a blast.
Sweet.
Yeah.
All right, Mikey.
All right. Well, for a first timer coming down, Shady Nook is a great spot. You can work your way all the way up to the Lowhead Dam. Now, you do want to respect the distances at the Lowhead Dam, but there's some good fishing up that way. Shady Nook, you can then drift all the way down to Hoover's Island, which is the launch at the mouth of Penn's Creek. That'll take you down past ILQ, the railroad bridge, everything in there. And it's a nice float where you don't have to get real tensed up because you're not going to run into a whole lot of bad water anywhere. You can take your time, fish it. A lot of grass islands, a lot of submerged grass, a lot of ledges, a lot of rocks, a lot of fish. If somebody wanted to go further south, don't discount the Harrisburg area around City Island.
Okay.
Especially with a motor, you can launch there and go almost all the way up to the Rockville ledges below the Rockville Bridge, which is a cool little area. It's the oldest stone arch railroad bridge, I think, in the country.
Bridges and ledges always seem to be a nice key feature on any river. So
yeah, and there's a pile of grass islands up through that way, a lot of deeper water that a guy with a motor can navigate without any problem. Fish your way up, drift your way back down, makes a nice daytime, nice day float. A lot of big fish in there that a lot of guys overlook just because it's closer to the Harrisburg area. So.
I got you. Sweet. Hey, Dain, how are you doing, buddy? Let's see. I muted him here.
We lost power, we lost the internet, we lost everything. So,
hey, man, we just want you to survive that bad weather out there,
It's settled down now.
Hey, well, tell everybody about who you are, where they can find you on your socials and things like that.
I'm Dain Provins. I'm current president of KayakAnglers.com. It's great to see my friends on here. It's great to see you, John. I am for the Kayak Anglers Trail and for until the end of 2024. So I don't really do too much social media because I'm just doing what I do for the trail. But after 2024 is when I really hit it hard. I'm in it for the trail. I'm in it for the members. I'm in it for these guys that are here, right here, and support all those guys. But after this year, I'm really going to turn it on. I can't wait for of this year. I'm an officer now in English for the past 9 years, which I support this year, which I'm still going to do sponsorship. Rich begged me to do it because I've gotten a pretty good rapport with all sponsors for Kayak Anglers, with you, John, coming up this year with ZPRO. But with the social media and everything else, all I'm doing is supporting Kayak Anglers. I really don't have a channel right now. I might change that in 2025. Like Abby and Adam, with Straight Yaks and everything else, which I watch constantly.
Yeah, them boys, they don't play.
Don't give him any views.
Let's go, Dain.
Hey,
Dain's
them
boy.
boys don't play.
Yeah.
I mean, they get a lot of love over at the ZPRO too, because Abby and Adam, I just happened to throw up Abby's really cool video this morning that he posted on the community page. I hope that'll help him get a little follow and likes. And then Adam's been up there too with some of his work. So we try to support the guys, man.
Abby with the glide bait this morning. Yeah, I like that, Abby.
That was cool. Yeah.
That was pretty cool.
Dain, you didn't like my wacky worm video? What the heck? Wacky worms. Let's go.
Wacky worm. But after so I haven't. Well, if you don't know, we moved this year, so I've been pretty busy this year. I haven't fished very much. How I'm in 13th place in AOI in Western, I have no idea. Out of like 145 guys or something like that. But we are comfortable, and I am ready to go for the last two events. So everybody better watch out. So
Sweet. Sweet.
But I am gunning for everybody here for the AOI to be at the top. I don't want to be in the team this year. I want to fish AOI. Don't make the same mistakes I made 2 years ago. Because just like Mike said, I heard everybody talking about their favorite places, and I was thinking about that this morning too. I've fished it so many times in the past 10 years, and I think about just different areas that I've gone, from Shady Nook to Montango, down to Liverpool, down to Duncannon, just fishing the ledges, those limestone shells that are there. And it depends on, I fished it high, I fished it low, I fished it great. And it depends on, you'll be on one side where it's completely crystal clear, you go on the other side. And a lot of people don't know when they're driving over the Susky, they think that's the Susquehanna. That's not it. That's an island in the middle. There's a whole nother Susquehanna on the other side. And sometimes that's dirty water, and that's just where they are. If I'm just catching small ones on one side, I'm like, forget this, I'm going to the other side, and that just happens to be where the giants are. So I'm really excited to think about where I want to go this year, and there's so many good places. There's so many good places I've walked in the middle of islands, 1 foot of water, and just caught giants.
I noticed that the goat was shaking his head when you said that. I think he has something he wants to add to that. Hey, Jody Queen.
Yeah,
I saw that. You can't help it.
No, I love it when you get that that clear water on one side and the mud. I know exactly what Dain's talking about, man. If I know that there's a stream that's gotten some rain the night before, because the river's so big and the drainage area is so big, a lot of times it'll rain in the head of one drainage area and it'll just muddy up half the river. And when that happens, I love getting over in that stained water.
Oh, yeah.
He's right, absolutely right.
Hit the edge of it and roll, huh?
I'll get right in the middle of it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, go past the edge and get right over in it and just fish that stained water over there.
Yeah, fish the stain.
Yep.
Well, and that's something that we haven't touched on here, guys. How would you describe the Susquehanna on an average day? Is it pretty stained? Is it fast flowing, or is it one of those just meandering rivers with a lot of rock and stuff like that?
Depends on the section.
That's all. Yeah, it all depends on rain. There's a lot of variables on that. Creeks that come in, that dump in on the west side, and then there's creeks that come in on the east side. So sometimes the north section of the river will be muddy, and then the other side where the west branch dumps in will be clear, and then vice versa.
Now, just to clarify for the people that are going to go back and watch this, the most of the sections of the Susquehanna we're talking about is probably a 20 to 30 mile area right in the middle of it. How would we describe that?
I would say from Harrisburg
down to Harrisburg.
Yep.
Say that again, Jody.
From Sunbury down to Harrisburg.
Yes.
Okay.
That section is the reason that section was catch and release for a long time, and those fish, they were allowed to grow, and you couldn't go for smallmouth, to keep them, at a certain time of the year. There was a season on them, and those fish just, that section is what used to be the catch and release section on that river, and that's why those fish are in there so big and so plentiful.
Just a little background on that, Judy. They made that catch and release in 2012. The Fish Commission voted on it because they were having so much disease and so many bad spawns and young of years. So they turned it into catch and release, and they also actually closed it that you could not target any bass from the first week in April till the first week in June. Mm-hmm. And that went on till 2017, where they finally lifted that you cannot target, and just the whole section is still catch and release only, along with about I think it's 25 miles up to Juniata and all the tributaries. So I mean, that's come a long way. I remember back before they had the catch and release, before they had the closures, you played heck to catch an 18-inch bass.
Right.
They just weren't there back in the 90s, early 2000s. I mean, you'd catch 8, 10s, 12s. The tournaments were being won, with 15-inch fish.
Right.
And to show how much that affected that area, it was never catch and release above Sunbury. It does not apply to the West Branch and the North Branch. That's always been the same. You can take fish out. There is a closed season, but you could still target all that time. And to show you the difference in quality fish, they hold lunker tournaments up there every Tuesday night. And so far this year, the biggest 2 fish were just slightly over 3 pounds.
Mm-hmm.
So that shows you the difference in the quality of fish between the section that's never had closure and
Mm-hmm.
is not catch and release, and the section that was closed and allowed to get some young a year to come back, have some good spawns, and get some 12, 15, 18-year-old fish. So
Nice.
Yeah, it definitely helped that section.
Yeah.
I mean, it stands out above all the other sections on the Susquehanna for sure. Yeah.
Well,
yeah, my first bass there that I caught 10 years ago was a 14-inch smallmouth, of course, and I thought it was a 20 because it fought like a 20. I mean, the fish are just so healthy there. I mean, everybody here can agree with that.
Yeah.
And then when you catch a 20, you're just going, good Lord.
Yeah. If you're fishing with a spinner rod, those fish are going to fight like a 20-inch. Basically, I would say, Dain, like a 14-inch smallmouth is going to fight about as hard as a 20-inch smallmouth in Lake Erie. It's insane. But going back to what Mike said, so I don't know if, and you guys might know this a little bit better than me, but I know Dain knows this because he's attorney director and everything like that. But, in Pennsylvania, what we have established right now is there's no fishing like for actual tournament fishing here from April to what is it, Dain? Like June, sometime in the middle of June.
Second Saturday in June.
Yeah. And that's the process of basically
other than the Erie.
Yeah, other than places that butt up with other fish commissions, like we have Pymatuning that sits on the border of Ohio and
I love
PA.
that lake.
Mm-hmm. I actually think like maybe even the Yakagani Lake might be in that situation too because it borders Maryland. But then like you said, you got Erie. But from what Mike was saying, they implemented that because that's generally, for depending on the season, that's your middle ground for spawns, and they want to try to obviously keep people from bed fishing and destroying possible future generations and stuff like that. But and my question is to the group, I don't know if anybody's heard this, but I just saw recently that the Fish and Game Commission was thinking about revamping that here in PA to where, as long as we, especially for kayak fishermen who use the CPR method, catch, photo, release, that they're going to allow us to fish in April all throughout with no regulation. I don't know if that's true or not.
I saw that too.
Yeah, so that'd be great. I mean, because I'll be honest, I've never fished the Susquehanna in May, June. I think the only times I'm really out there is anywhere from July to like November. So,
can you imagine? Like, can you guys are talking to a 21 or 22 or 23-inch smallie on that water, and you say it fights?
Oh yeah,
like a 36-inch muskie or something.
Speaking of which, you might catch a few of those. I probably the most amount of muskie I've ever seen being caught was the weekend we had the Bassmaster. I think I know of probably 5 people right now at the top of my head who caught muskie, and obviously you guys probably saw Christine Fisher getting bit by a muskie. So yeah, you could run into a few of those, John. Just
I saw
bear in mind.
Philip Backus caught one up there when he was up there. He had a video on his page. So
yeah, and that's another good indication of how good the water is there. I mean, because you got muskies that are just growing like crazy. So
on day 2 of the Bassmaster 2 weeks ago, I saw 12 muskies. on day 2.
Yeah,
Jeez.
I believe it. Well, Ben, I appreciate you guys spending your evening here on the Rusty Hook, and glad that we were able to break Dain and Mike's cherry tonight. But hopefully we can get both of these men back on the show when the weather's better and we can talk all things Pennsylvania and some of the great fishing you have up here. I know Dain still is, he never lets me not hear it. He's still sore at me about the time there at the Palma-Tuning where I robbed him of that big bass. I think.
No.
Oh, come on. All right.
We just needed to fish that area because I was slamming that. So,
Hey, I found them blue gill beds before you, so leave me alone. Anyway, hey guys, love y'all, appreciate you. Hey, Jody, Adam, Abby, I'll be pulling for you and watching you guys this weekend.
Good luck.
Smash them.
Yeah.
Have a great pre-fishing, and wish you the best. Jody, I'll be seeing you early next week when we get home. Since I'm not coming up that way, I'll have the truck packed and ready to meet you down there at our favorite fishing hole. So
Sounds good.
be blessed. Mikey, Dain, God bless you, and thanks again. Nothing but love, and appreciate you.
John,
Thanks, guys.
John, hit me up. I'll give you all Abby's secret spots.
Hey, I like that. All right, guys. So appreciate everybody hanging out with us here at the Rusty Hook Kayak Fishing Podcast. If you haven't paid attention tonight, we were streaming live on the South Georgia page, so all of our Georgia followers could learn a little bit about some smallmouth fishing up here in Pennsylvania. Be blessed, stay safe. When you go out on water, always wear your PFD. What I want to show you now is that the Paddle and Fin is getting ready to work with a new company. Adam is pretty familiar with them, and it's called Cross Kicks. And these guys have thrown us a commercial our way to show you a little bit about their product and what they do. Let me see if I can find that, and we'll run it for you. And make sure you go like and follow Cross Kicks. Hopefully, they'll be part of our network from the year on out.
I was initially introduced to Cross Kicks by doing a Google search looking for the perfect shoe that would allow me to unload my kayak from the ramp without changing shoes, getting in the boat, fishing all day, and being able to come back, get in the truck, and go home.
The big thing for me that made me wear Cross Kicks over other shoes was the versatility. I can go to the boat ramp, and then when I'm done at the boat ramp, I can go meet my wife and kids for a nice dinner and wear the same shoes and have, nice looking, comfortable shoes on.
I ordered Cross Kicks because of the backing strap, the drainage. Visually, I thought this has got to work better. Tried the shoe within the first week, felt it was phenomenal. It works for me. It allows me to rinse my feet off in the water, get back in the vehicle, continue on my day, and never have to change shoes throughout the day.
It keeps me comfortable all day long. That is a huge factor on the water, comfort. And especially my feet being comfortable, protected, and knowing that when I step off my kayak, I'm gonna have good solid foot traction. That's a great feeling to have.
By the time I put my kayak in the water and get out and load my equipment up, my shoes are already dry. And I wouldn't change that about Cross Kicks for anything.
So make sure you go give Cross Kicks a like, follow, and subscribe. Check out their website, and you might purchase you a pair of shoes. As you can see, they're nice looking shoes. They keep your feet comfortable, dry, and more importantly, for somebody like me, I use the NRX boundary boots, but they're hot. They're more for the spring and the fall, but I need something in the summertime. So Cross Kicks, give them a look and a shout out. I'm John Rapp. Make sure you wear your PFD when you're out on the water. Like, follow, and subscribe. Rusty Hook Kayak Fishing Podcast. Stay safe, and we will catch you next Tuesday.